the film business was in 1980, where I worked for a music publisher that specialized in its administration of music assets owned by film and television producers. That particular job, I got a call from the gentleman who was the best man at my first wedding. His name was Corey Robbins. Corey was famous for Walk This Way. He was a record company. Corey found Run DMC in Queens.
Okay.
Signed them to his company, Profile Records. Corey was a good friend of mine. He calls me one day and he says, look, I got this guy, his name is Bob Reno. He's looking for what's called a professional manager in the film music business. And so I met with Bob, applied for the job. Bob said, the only problem is it's going to be in California. I said, well, that's not a problem for me. To leave the South Bronx for California, I'm down. Because my brother was one of the first PhDs at NYU Film School. He actually taught there as an undergraduate, and I'd go to his lectures. So he was 6 years older than me, and he would take me everywhere. He got me a job as at one of the East Side of New York City theaters. But I learned so much from his lectures, and he invited me to these giant lectures that he gave at NYU. And so then I saw West Side Story when I was about 12. That was it for me. Film and music, married like that, doesn't get better than that. Tell you about some of my experiences in making films. The most fun by far was American Pie band camp, because again, it was the mixture of music and film. And they gave me a huge music budget, and we hired the Riverside Community College marching band, which was a huge, like 200-piece marching band. We shipped them all up to where we were shooting, and we just had the best time making that movie. And my son is in it. The director's son and my son writing songs together, so we put them both in the movie. There was a transportation woman there. My boss, who ran the Universal division, said that because of my knees and stuff, I could park anywhere. If I wanted to park right next to the director, it's fine with her. So I parked near where the sound guys were. And this woman comes over and says that I have to move my car immediately or I'm going to be towed. And my boss was about 4 feet away and heard her say this to me. She fired that person on the spot and said, Paul can park wherever he wants. You're fired. That was a pretty good moment. Who were some of the people I worked with that I really enjoyed working with that were excellent? Of course, I worked with Wally Pfister, who has an Academy Award for Inception. And what a nice guy he was. Of course, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he and I made a movie together where he shoots me dead in Angel in Red. And it was one of his first movies, a skinny little guy, and now he's a big, strapping adult in Walking Dead. That was great fun. He was such a nice kid. Of course, the scene where I get shot was so funny, the director had to leave the set. Literally, had to walk off the set from laughing. Bill Paxton was a good friend. He lived in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, and would always come to me to get posters of movies we worked on together. Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton, their first movie together, I was the music supervisor, called Brain Dead. Okay, this movie made for about $100,000, a low-budget Roger Corman movie. But that's how they got their start, when you think about who they became. Working with Mike Elliott for, I don't know how much, since 1988. He and I have been making movies together. Of course, he's the principal at Capital Arts Entertainment, who is our partner in the bigger films we make. He took me to Death Valley for my birthday once. He's the godfather to my child. He's just the best friend a man could have. I was lucky enough in my career to work with many of the same people over and over and over again. And our children were born at the same time, and our families knew each other, and I miss that. What made me decide to start teaching film? I had a play that a friend of mine was giving, up in the Blaze Theater. I was sitting way in the back. And she sat down next to me. I didn't know who she was. This nice woman sat down next to me. I was doing that crossword puzzle in the DOA. And she said, "What are you doing there?" And I said, "I'm doing the crossword because if the crossword is tough, I know how smart the students are at this college," being a wise guy saying that. And she said, "Well, how smart are they?" And I said, "Well, pretty smart. This is a tough puzzle," lying. And she said, "Well, I'm Tracy Fitzsimmons. I'm the president. Nice to meet you. Who are you?" I was like, whoops. And we talked, and she asked me what I did, and she said, "That's something we need here." This was the music supervision and copyright course, which of course then transformed into film. So I've been here 9 years now. The only stories that really matter to me now are the current ones with the students that we have here. Almost 100% wonderful to work with. To see people get interested in filmmaking who never really thought about it. And some have gone on to want to do it as a career. So, that's worth everything to me. I have to make up for some of my bad karma I've accrued over the last 50 years. So I'm doing my penance and enjoying it.
2, 1.
Okay, hold it. I'm coming out.
That's it, nice and easy. Don't be stupid. Let's go. Come on, old man. All right, this is no time to be a hero. Come on out nice and slow. Let's go, come on, move it. Move it. Here. The one supposed to be in the shooting. You wanna be a martyr, old man?
That's what they pay me for, scumbag!
Yeah, well, now's your chance.
Promise me, quit.
Tough shit, Baxter. This asshole shot at me.
Clock is ticking, people.
Come on, we gotta go.
Right, Gwen, let's go.
Let's go.
Come on.
Hurry up.
Sorry, guys. I figured if you saw him shoot me, you'd be too shook up to make a move. I didn't figure Roy here for the hero type. Remember what I did for you guys when the cops come?